Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Stop Being Hateful. I'm sorry, I'm so excited to record this episode.
We have breaking news, but first...
So, I'm your host, Lori Fogg.
And your co-host.
My beautiful...
And producer, Adam.
co-host. We have so much information to talk about. We're gonna get right to it, which is like the boop 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 the breaking news.
Breaking
news.
Breaking news.
It
might not be breaking by the time this airs, but it's breaking right now. It's
breaking
to
us.
Yes.
Teresa is not only selling her mansion, her McMansion that she and Joe Giudice built. She and Joe Giudice are finalizing their divorce. Which is so... I mean, I can't believe... First of all, I'm excited to see how this plays out in Roge, because I was literally obsessed with her Italy trip, how that played out on the show. Like, I can't wait to see her start this new chapter of her life. I'm also obsessed with how everybody in her life is like, yeah, we never really liked Joe Giudice. We just kind of, like, love to get drunk with him.
Which is really sad. I think they're just saying... I don't believe that. I think people are just saying that to be like... You know, stay friends with the one who's in America.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like after you break up with your boyfriend and then, like, you were really in love with him and that made everybody else kind of fall in love with him too.
But now you hate him so everyone else hates him.
Yeah, or, like your friends are just going to be polite and, like, be quiet about it, but, like, they do kind of...
The Gorgas, I understand. The Gorgas feel the same way Melissa does. Joe, before Teresa or Joe went to prison, and talking with Joe Gorga.
They weren't the best.
Joe was saying, like, do you blame him? Like, are you mad at him? Like, before Teresa even went to prison. That was, like, season 6, you know? So... It's not surprising that some people hate him, but, you know, I'm sad to see a relationship.
A family.
And that... Well, wait, what were you talking about?
Like the Giudice family.
No. I'm talking about Rosie and Joe. I am sad to see one of the most iconic Bravo friendships disappear.
Yeah.
Although, you know, Teresa's not really on good standing with that side of the family to begin with. So maybe, you know, Joe has some,
Joe can get his way back into America via a beard relationship with Rosie.
You know, I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about them staying friends, but anything can happen.
More than friends. Maybe they get beard married. Is it gay married if one of them's straight?
I mean, is it gay married if they're the different sexes?
One of them is gay, so it's gay marriage.
I don't know.
What came first, the chicken or the egg, folks? But and then also we want to bring it back to what really started us with the pod, Vanderpump.
Again, might not be breaking news for you, but this is
a little old.
This is a little old, but
Lala and Randall are having a little Lala, maybe a little Rand.
You know, Lala to me was always like a name for someone who's like dumb. Like when someone's like, oh, they're called Lala, I'm like, oh, that's a dumb Teletubby. I don't even know if they are like...
Her name is Lauren. Like, I don't even get how you get that. Like, it's not...
La. I mean, I don't know.
I guess.
But it's like, lore is like L-O sound.
Lore.
La. Like,
Lauren, La.
This is a terrible podcast.
I mean, I guess it's the first two letters.
Sounds. It is. It is,
It's just a syllable. I mean, that's all she could say as a baby.
Maybe she just really liked Teletubbies.
Yeah, I know. I think she did say her mom used to call her that, so maybe it is just like a...
Maybe it's because she kept on running into walls as a kid. Just a dumb little child.
I mean, let's hope...
Put her hand on the stove too many times.
She went, La!
And then she put it back.
She's no fingerprints now. Lala actually can commit any crime she wants, and nobody will ever find out, because her fingerprints are just burnt clean off.
They're burnt off because she's a little Lala.
Clean off.
Touching stoves as a kid.
I'm always afraid she's gonna, like, because she is very active on social media. I have, like, a real fear that she would find our social medias, not the podcast, but, like, our individual ones, and then start, like, grilling us.
For what?
Which is because we, like...
They're gonna ruin our lives?
No, but, like, I don't know. I don't really think I could mentally handle if she... Like, if Dodie wanted to call me, like, a weak-chinned bitch, I'd be like, yeah, I do have a weak chin. Thank you for that. But, like, if Lala wanted to call me, I think I would just be like, oh my god, like, this person is unhinged. Like, what's wrong? I'd feel unsafe.
But think about how many followers you'd get. They'd be like, oh my god, look at this beautiful artist.
I hope so. I hope it would work out like that. Instead, I probably would just install cameras in my house to make sure that she could never find me.
She could never find you. I'd be more worried about Randall showing up.
Randall pretending to arrest me.
Oh my god.
The fucking war. But I am curious to see how this plays out in their relationship. You know, a baby is always a blessing in any relationship. So
it was a blessing the first 8 times he fathered illegitimate children, and now it's gonna be a blessing.
No, they were legitimate because he was married when he had his kids.
I'm not talking about those kids, but yeah.
There's just a bunch of like Randall Emmett lookalikes.
These little kids with their arms folded and too much like, neck hair,
rocking around like they're fucking Turtle from Entourage.
You know, Randall Emmett, like I know they're not the same people, but like whenever I actively have to disassociate Big Ed from Randall Emmett because like in my head they're the same person.
Yeah, I wonder if they act the same.
I bet the millionaire movie producer does not act the same as the necklace 40-year-old who hasn't had sex in 25 years.
He had sex last year, I believe.
Oh, yes.
On television.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the self-awareness though. How like sometimes like on Instagram, like I think he doesn't have. I'm going off topic. I don't actually even know what I was going with that one, but I do think it's funny because they have Lala and Randall have each other blocked on social media, and she like archives photos of him when they have fights, which she did recently. So it's like, what are you gonna do when you have a baby with this person? Like, you can't do shit like that.
What does archive photos mean?
It's
like take them off your story?
Yeah, you take them off your Instagram and then you put them in your personal archive and you can put them up later.
Huh.
It's not like deleting, but it is like taking them off your feed.
Yeah, it's like taking them off. Yeah, taking them off your feed.
But it's like, what do you like? They did that recently, and now they're having a baby, and it's like, to me, the maturity level, there's like a disparity there, like between like having a baby.
Oh, there's a maturity level between the 58-year-old, the 63-year-old man, and the
63
and the 20-year-old woman.
Didn't I tell you recently that Lala was 30, and you were like, no, she's not.
She's not 30.
She is 30.
No, you told me Brittany. I thought Brittany was like 27.
No.
I know. That's the one we looked up.
Such an insane. Lala is 30 though. They're all like 30 at this point. I think James Kennedy's the only one that's under 30.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. James Kennedy, I think, is 26.
She is 30 years old?
She just has, like, a face where, like, you can't really tell.
Who, Lala?
Yeah.
You can tell.
Like, I can't tell if she's in her... She just turned 30 or if she's been 30 for a long time.
I just forget that, you know... Oh, God, Randall looks so disgusting. Who's the girl? She looks like a busted plastic surgery Sophie Turner.
Wait, Reed.
Like a C-list Sophie Turner look-alike.
I guess. I think Sophie Turner's really hot, though.
She did just have a baby, too. In this photo,
too.
Specifically, in front of,
Lala can't reveal she's an alcoholic.
I mean, you can tell by her... Never mind.
Her puffiness.
Her puffiness.
Like, because she had, I don't know if it's filler. I was just going to say by
her words and actions, but...
Oh, very clearly. Although, I don't think we've ever saw her truly drunk on the show.
Oh, I feel like she's one of those drunks where you don't really know she's a drunk because she's just constantly lit. She handles being drunk so well. She's just lit and, like, thrives in a state of being lit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like Bert or something. Like, you know, someone who just, like, wears it well, is obnoxious already, and it just gets a little bit amplified. Yeah,
she looks like a chav in that picture that's just her, not Rand. Like those London girls who, like, have, like, a ton of, like, I think that's so funny. Oh, is she wearing, like, a nude lipstick, too? Like, ugh.
There's a
her 50 Cent drama. I wonder what 50 Cent has to say in all this.
Lala Kent claps back after 50 Cent accuses her of using cocaine. Lala, you use coke? No, you...
Not anymore, but...
she would never do something like that.
They all the cast members of Vanderpump Rules have openly admitted to, like, being low-key addicted to Adderall.
What are you talking about?
Like, Stassi, when Stassi was like, when I got with Bo, I had to stop doing Adderall. And, like, Andy Cohen is like, what did you just say?
I mean, Bo is, It's surprising that Bo got her to, like, restrain herself and use some discipline.
I feel like he does not fuck with, like, drugs like that.
He looks like he spent the last 10 years at Burning Man. I don't know what you're talking about. He constantly has his curly fro up with a headband. He's wearing crop tops and jean shorts. I mean, this is not a man's man.
He just looks like a party boy.
Exactly, so you don't think he would fuck with...
No, I think he'd, like, fuck with, like, alcohol.
I think he'd fuck with weed.
And, like, weed.
Yeah, he looks
and,
like a guy who,
but, like, prescription
mushrooms.
Drugs he, like, would not be down with.
I mean, oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But anyways, we're on season 8 of Real Housewives.
Well, last time we finished season 7.
We did. We wrapped up.
Since this last week, we've finished season 7 and gone through a lot of episodes.
We've gone through... Because it's been so... It's, like, a part of the reason why I'm truly, like, euphoric to talk about it is because this is, like, the best season I've seen.
And the thing is, you know, we started this podcast, and it was a Vanderpump Rules podcast, but there's only so much content that has.
And the new seasons.
We brought it into a Bravo pop podcast, now a pop culture podcast. And it's interesting because we had to broaden those because we weren't consuming enough Bravo. We weren't consuming enough Bravo each week to talk about.
No.
But season 8 has given us a lot to eat.
I could talk about this for hours.
It's crazy.
We talk about it in our day-to-day lives probably more than we talk about most things.
I can't, season 7, just to recap, ends with, Siggy just trying to worm her way into everyone's relationships.
Jacqueline just being awful.
By trying to fix it. Jacqueline being awful. Thank goodness she's gone. As much as I liked her in the early seasons, she had to go.
She had to go. She wasn't offering anything. I mean, she's about to start her life as a grandma. I respect her journey. I love her for what she's given us in the past, but she needed to go.
She had such a chip on her shoulder. And it wasn't even a fun chip. It wasn't even It wasn't
even like a chocolate dipped potato chip. It's like a wood chip.
It's we couldn't, with the new characters, at least they're doing, their contractually obligated appearances. They're going out to lunches with one another, even if they're arguing. Jacqueline just would go somewhere
and leave
and start an argument instantly.
Yeah, it's you gotta wait until you have your wine to really start.
I know, I feel. You can't let any new beef. There was no new beef because they just kept on arguing about old beef.
And it's I feel that night on the porch when Caroline and her really went at Teresa, and I would say it was a little unfair because it's 2 against 1. It should be either Jacqueline won. It should be 1-on-1 or none.
Yeah.
And I feel the friendship was over there, and I feel Teresa was kind of over it and could have moved on, but I feel Jacqueline wanted it so badly, and it is hard to walk away from somebody you have a history with, but you don't need to continue it. You can just you can say thank you God for giving me the time with that person that I had, and then move on and say oh, I learned this lesson from her, and thank you for that, and you don't have to
you don't have to tether yourself to this person.
Yeah, they can
when it's causing you so much
turmoil.
Yeah. That did not make sense.
But so, I want to start off by saying it's really sad about Teresa's mom. I feel it really put...
Season 8 starts off with a new cast member, who we'll get to in a moment, and the death of Teresa's mom.
It's so sad.
It's a 10-minute montage.
It's horribly sad. And
children crying.
Yeah.
And Teresa crying, and Joe crying.
Yeah.
Joe,
Joe Gorga looks awful.
And I love to make fun of how the new the cast members look, from season to season.
Yeah.
Even as they were talking about Teresa's mom, I paused to be yo, Teresa looks bad, and Lori was she just lost her. She got so annoyed and at me, but when I saw Joe, I was oh, okay, no, I can't.
This is the face of grief.
This is.
He looks terrible.
He won't even talk to his kids.
Yeah, I felt really bad for him.
I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm sorry.
Adam's laughing because he's uncomfortable.
I am.
It's raw human emotion. But it is really sad, and I do feel for Teresa, and I feel if her mom hadn't died, and if she hadn't had that experience as Joe was away, maybe they'd still be together. I don't know. It's can you truly forgive somebody if you feel they took something from you like that?
The only thing I'd say about that is, she kind of has regressed a little bit, though, because before, season 7, she was or season 6, before she went to prison, right?
Yeah.
She said, and this is after she got, sentenced, she said, I'm taking responsibilities for my actions, my husband did this, but I was not diligent either. I should have been on top of my on top of all my stuff, and now she's just complete no responsibility once again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say.
And
I would say she isn't taking accountability.
She's not taking any accountability for that. And again, another piece of evidence to back me up
piece
is
of the pie.
She started in the season 7 recap reunion. She said Jacqueline was the reason she went to jail. Jacqueline and Chris.
I loved that.
She pulled up a phone conversation. I believe in
my heart that they were talking to people who report that is so fucking.
That's crazy.
I was gonna say hilarious.
It's paranoid.
I mean,
it's a lot of things.
I have to be 100% honest with you though. Maybe she's right. The Manzos do love to talk. And Chris instantly knew Chris Loretta knew instantly what she was talking about. Yeah.
And had, a bunch of excuses.
Yeah.
So, I'm not, I actually like Chris a lot. I actually like Jacqueline a lot, but, it's very iffy when like this thing that's never been brought up on the show gets brought up,
and there's instantly like that's not true. Like
and
that's
we've heard about this thing for 7 years, like 7 seasons. It's been or 5 seasons. There's been like legal troubles. 4 seasons been legal troubles, and we're just hearing about this now.
Yeah,
that's a little shady.
It's a little like I do genuinely wonder like what happened, like who like I believe in some capacity the conversation that the Manzos and the Loritas had with whoever this person was probably didn't help her.
I would agree.
Like, I don't know if it directly caused anything, but like I believe it did not help the situation. Yeah. Just based on the way Jacqueline gets involved.
Yes.
But you know, Teresa mentions when Joe's in prison, he's getting his GED.
He's losing weight.
He's rail thin, really.
He lost 30 pounds in a month, which is not healthy.
I mean, it's all just alcohol bloat he's losing.
I don't know. 30. That's a pound a day, babe. That's a lot.
I truly just think he...
Look, I've lost like 15 pounds in a month, and like I did not feel healthy.
I don't know. Maybe he's fasting.
Maybe
he's practicing Ramadan like Teresa did in prison.
We practice Ramadan?
Ramadan. You don't need to say the extra... Like, who's talking to her that she, like... That's, like, one of those things where it's, like,
I love
she
how
must have never...
someone's like, that's very disrespectful. She's like, it was... What do you mean? We had a nice night. We had a
nice time.
Like, she just... Which it's like...
She's like, there were mats everywhere. There were blankets everywhere.
You know, she was just, like, there trying to find community in prison, appreciating another culture.
Lori Laughlin is allegedly taking cues from her.
Good, you know...
To, like, make the best of prison.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? Like... I mean, if you're gonna wallow in like, despair and self-doubt, like, that's not gonna be...
So, I have notes on my phone.
Alright, well, season 8, other big thing is we have a new housewife.
My favorite housewife! I'm so excited.
Lori got so excited when she appeared on the screen, and I was like,
my face lit up.
Who is this blonde woman? She has pigtails. She's, like, really loud. She pulls up to like, a hotel, like, a yellow Mustang. You know,
the logo is blurred out, though, so we don't know it's a Mustang.
I think it was a Camaro, actually. But... You know, it was just like, I'm like, who is this woman? Like, she's gaudy as all hell. Like, very quickly, though, she's established herself.
She is a queen.
She's established herself very,
We're talking,
very
of course, about Margaret Josephs, my Aries queen. See, that's why I do believe in astrology, because it's like, there's something about when you put a true, like, Aries in the mix that's like, we're just good. Like, I'm just dramatic and fun, and I feel like Margaret is also dramatic and fun.
Margaret is very dramatic.
I wouldn't have a podcast if I didn't think I was dramatic and fun. But
I want to talk. She's introduced. She's introduced to the group by Siggy. Siggy has continued her antics.
She's wormed her way back into yet another season
of trying to be the group's mediator, which the group doesn't need. The group's mediator is Joe Gorga.
It is Joe Gorga.
The group's mediator is Joe Gorga. Joe will sit down with women, with men, with children.
Sometimes he'll be in a dress as a woman
and tell them what they're doing wrong. And how he sees the situation.
His eyes are going to be popping out the whole time.
He's going to be making small, but somehow big hand gestures. Like,
he's a little man, so his movements have to be very...
His hands are so big.
He's
a construction worker. I know, but his, like... What were we watching where, like... Oh, he was opening... Or he was tying something for his daughter, and it looked like fucking sausages.
Yeah.
Like, it was just...
Was he, like, braiding Antonia's hair or something?
I don't know.
He was doing something with, like...
He was like literally using just his thumb and forefinger and like having to like.
And
put
he was
his, like,
still really fucking it up. Like he was not doing a good job.
He was trying so hard. It's so funny.
But Dolores is also back. Her husband is.
So run down the cast of season 8.
This season we got in this
Teresa,
quarter
the queen.
Teresa, Melissa, Dolores, Siggy, and Margaret, and then the reason why I feel like I'm euphoric right now. I feel like
I really thought, Siggy was gonna be... not Siggy... Well, Siggy was gonna be, like, again, the wild card of this season. Sorry.
We have friend of the show coming back, Danielle Staub.
I cannot believe she's back.
I'm moved to tears by saying that sentence.
And why is she back?
Because Teresa reached out to Teresa while Teresa... I love this about Danielle. I love that she's like, your weakest point. Let me just snake my way. Like, she called me every day to check in on my mother. It's like, I feel like she didn't really care that much.
She didn't have much going on. Yeah, she didn't take, like, an inordinate amount of time out of her day to do that for you.
Yeah.
Like, she has nothing going on.
I mean, she's with Marty.
I don't know who that is.
Her boyfriend.
Again, she has nothing going on.
Jilly, I think, is 18 probably by now.
No, but I really thought, that like, Siggy was going to be the main, like, focal point of the season, which so far she is.
She is. For all the wrong reasons.
Just having Staub there as the wild card.
Because her role isn't, like, there's no plot with her. We're not following anything that she... I don't know anything about her. I met her boyfriend, and that's it.
She's
like a chorus play. It's like a Greek play, and she's like the chorus. She's just there to like add things and
like
to,
add something that the rest of the girls forgot.
Yeah, like I think like she invented Soggy Flicker. Like she said that.
First episode, trip to Boca Raton. It's supposed to be a trip to get Teresa's mind off her mother. And for Melissa to celebrate her birthday.
We have the same birthday, by the way. It's March 21st.
The only problem with that is they're going to Siggy's hometown.
And I feel like...
And Siggy planned this trip.
Yeah, and I feel like things like this can either go one of two ways, which is like when... I am recalling when they went to... Where did they go? Santa Clauselina in Italy, which was like Teresa and Joe's hometown, which I get was kind of a pain in the ass because I had to walk up that big-ass hill. Do you remember that?
No, what season was that? 5?
Season
3?
like 1. Oh. Season 2, I think, when they all went on the boat, and Caroline and Albert watched the kids. But that was like, I got the vibe that like, oh, while it was a little cumbersome, it was kind of like family oriented. It was like fun, like, and Teresa and Joe were like happy to show where like they came from, and like all the parents and the kids were there. It seemed very like wholesome and fun and nice. This just seemed like one giant like circle jerk for Siggy, Like, I just could not with anything. Like, if somebody was like, I'm going to plan a birthday trip for you, and then, like, made it all about themselves, I think I'd be like, actually, fuck this.
They went to her hometown. They went to her local bar, or her local, like, pub where she goes to.
I didn't even know what you call it, because it was like a steakhouse. And
then they went to a restaurant that a friend of hers, like, owns, or...
Was it?
I think so. There was some connection.
They went to her friend's house.
Well, they did go to her friend's. That was the next day though. But they went to some sort of restaurant where she had a connection to.
Yeah, and I get like I get like being like, oh, this is my home. Like it's like if somebody came to my hometown, I definitely would feel like, oh, I'm in my element. Like I'd point out things like, oh, this is where like I went to high school or whatever. But like.
But everything has been about her. So she walks into the restaurant, or she walks into the bar, and she just goes, "Hello, Boga!"
Screaming. Like I would want to kill her. I would leave actually if she did this, in my presence. I do want to say I wrote this quote down. Siggy's also been giving a lot of tours, like a book tour, or like I don't really know, like motivational speaking, I guess you call it, to like promote her book. And she says, "When people are hanging on to my every word, it's orgasmic for me."
There's a lot of good Siggy quotes in this season.
That's a fucking nuts.
That's nuts.
That's like if somebody, first of all, anytime somebody describes anything as orgasmic, I'm like, are you like on the brink of coming right now? Like, are you gonna do it in front of me? Like, I don't like that.
How about when they're out on the patio having dinner?
Yeah, so it's the day to set you the viewer, the listener up. It's They like go out. They're outside. They're literally outside, like in like an outside patio or something. Like it looks
a big
private.
patio area.
Yeah,
they're out by the water.
It looks beautiful.
Very nice.
Yeah, very very.
They have
nice.
like a terrace up above them.
Yeah, it looks, but it is outside, so it's like it's not that big of a deal. Like for what's about to happen.
Oh, there's a lot that's about to happen.
A lot.
First, right? Siggy is explaining to the girls, which this is like almost like the same plot as season 7 with Melissa, which was I'm doing this new thing. My husband wants me home more. So Melissa, she started doing Envy. Joe wanted her home more.
Yeah.
And this season, and he ends up. I really did not think that Joe was being ridiculous. Joe was concerned. Melissa has a history of starting things and not following through with them a year later. So I wasn't really, like, I didn't think what Joe was saying was misogynistic. He's not saying a woman can't run a business. He's saying he didn't want his wife to get involved in something that she wasn't going to follow through with.
Or to invest all this money and then not see it back, which is also a valid concern because it's mostly his money.
Yes, he's while they do have a show right now, she's on the show because of his family connection. While they do on the show right now, he's the one who has a business that built them the house and that is providing for their way of life. The show is definitely right now good income, but like when the show's over, you know, who's gonna be?
Yeah, your contracts don't get automatically renewed. Like you could be off the show. Like
Stassi and Kristen.
R.I.P. I didn't mean to say most of his money. I meant to say most of his manpower because he did build the store.
But you know, she says like oh he wants me home more, and then you know this is when Margaret and her start butting heads because Margaret goes and
Margaret has like a full-on business.
She's a self-made woman before her husband.
Yeah, she's
and
like
then
QVC.
And then she left her husband for her contractor,
which is so cute.
I love that. Which is pretty funny,
funny.
and she's still good with her husband, her first husband, because they have a child together. But yeah, it was just like, she's crazy.
This thing with Siggy though, it's like, to me, it's like you're asking a group of people for advice. So you should be prepared to like take everything they say with a grain of salt, because you might not agree with what they say.
The thing is though, she's not really. She's just talking about herself in the guise of asking for advice.
Yeah, it's like if you want to talk about a problem you're having and then tell me I don't want advice about this, I just want to vent. It's like that's totally fine.
But she literally says, "I am the most talented. I believe I am the most talented person in the world." And then starts crying because the other women were like, I had the same problem with my husband, and I just had to do this, this, and this. So she starts crying.
And
they continue saying, it's okay, Siggy, you just need to go. She takes her wine and goes, I don't want to talk about it, and throws it on the table. The table's a mesh table, so it just went...
Was it a mesh table?
It was glass. No, it's mesh, so it went right through it. But Maggie was across the table from her. She's wearing white.
Margaret was across the table from her, wearing a beautiful eyelet white t-shirt blouse. I thought it was... my favorite thing about Margaret is she always is in pigtails, but they're always, like, so messy. There's always, like, a big chunk of hair in the back that's, like, not in the pigtail.
Which is funny, because she's like, I'm gonna do something with my hair, but not anything with my hair. Like, it's...
I don't know. I think she just wants it out of her face,
it's
honestly.
Iconic.
But I love that. I love that for her.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you do a ponytail and, like, half of it's down, like, but it's, like, pigtails.
Which is even, like... she puts her hair up in a bun a lot too.
She does.
And I'm just like, bitch, you better put those in pigtails.
Put them in pigtails. Put it
back.
But so you know, it is Melissa's birthday, and no birthday is complete
without a $1,200 cake.
I think it was $1,000.
Without a $500,000 cake.
You know, we've all seen Cake Boss. We all know these cakes can get expensive, but ultimately, like,
this cake was not that impressive.
It was like it's a nice cake. I would be very happy to get it for my birthday. It looked delicious. It looked like it had raspberries in the center, which I love.
Raspberries and strawberries.
That looks delicious. I love like an angel food cake.
3-tier artisan made specialty cake that was made with the exact same wallpaper pattern on the cake as Melissa's store, because it was Melissa's birthday.
Which, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I used to work at a Dairy Queen, and we used to have edible images. They don't fucking hand paint them on. They put them in a printer.
But it just shows the extra effort to customize it for her.
I guess, but the way she was making it...
But Melissa did... Here's the thing. Melissa, even before the incident happened, Melissa didn't even... she didn't realize.
Yeah.
She didn't see... Melissa's so drunk, she doesn't see it saying envy. She can't read the cursive that says envy on it. And then, so Siggy points out, it's your store, it's your cake.
And she seems very, like, touched by it. She seems, she seems to be appreciative. Mm-hmm. And they also, I just want to point out, they ate the fucking cake. There's 6 women here. I don't believe they're going to eat more than a slice of cake.
It's a 3-tier cake. Like, and each tier was a full-size cake.
And the bottom was like it wasn't like a cake. It wasn't like what the fuck are those called? The cardboard things. It wasn't like one of those. It was like a silver.
The bottom of it was it was on a silver platter.
I don't think it's a platter though, because it wasn't.
No, that was a platter, babe.
It was a platter.
Yeah.
I thought it was like I don't know. It looked like I don't know how to describe it.
It was it was like
I guess it was a platter.
It had like a
little mini ottoman.
Yeah,
like a silver ottoman, I guess.
Ended up in the hospital.
Oh Jesus!
And that's when things turned.
Sorry, you want to look at the cake?
We want to. I want to see her throw it, or who throws it first. I'm pretty sure it's Teresa, or does Melissa hit?
I think Teresa slaps her in the face with it.
Which, you know, this is not, like, they've thrown cakes before in Real Housewives in New Jersey.
It's not, like, a weird... And also, it's not, like, a crazy thing. If I was shit-faced and I had a birthday cake, and, like, this is also, like, what Dolores says is, like, this is what you get with this group of girls. It's, like, this is how Teresa, like, has fun.
Oh, yeah. And it's also, like, and it's a cultural thing. I mean, people do that. People
they do
like
that
push their faces in the cakes and like that's
they
like
do
a
that
thing.
a lot on My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding. They always have a cake fight.
Yeah, it's just like, so the thing of the incident is they get this cake brought out.
It is pretty nice.
You know, it says by Melissa Envy by Melissa Gorga. You know, has a shoe in it, and Siggy is just like. You know, she's just all over the girls.
The cushion isn't even nice though. Like, it's not even made. I don't know. It doesn't like.
But they're eating the cake and they're drinking more.
Teresa does it.
And then so Melissa starts imitating Teresa, and starts saying this stuff, and Teresa just takes a piece of her cake and
they're
puts it in
smiling and laughing. We're watching the clip right now. Then Melissa takes the top,
the whole top of the cake,
the whole top of the cake.
And smashes it over Teresa's head. And Margaret thinks it's hilarious.
It's so funny.
Everyone's smiling except for Siggy. Siggy is looking around like, what just happened? Like, she's hearing gunshots.
They're fully outside. I don't even get what the fucking problem is. There's not... Teresa just takes the base and just chucks it.
Well, she picked up the cake, and, like, the whole thing comes up on the base.
Yeah, I think at that point she's so drunk, like...
They are so shit-faced.
You can see in Melissa's eyes.
Melissa is, like, running like a very drunk woman.
She's, like, her arms are at her side. Like, she doesn't know what to do with them.
Yeah, she's
wasted. But it's, like... And so this is literally
This is the catalyst for the whole season.
The whole season.
Every argument in the whole season spawns from this incident. And it's not a big deal.
And so Siggy's upset. Margaret goes like, "Calm down. We didn't mean anything by it. It was
Siggy's
just
walking
fun.
around calling like, I can't take you
You're
take
animals.
you people anywhere. We're gonna have to explain where we're from. You're animals.
I have the highest IQ of anybody in this room."
Yeah.
Which felt a little, when Ariana and Vanderpump said, "I'm the smartest person I've ever met." It felt a little that.
Yeah. Which Ariana is smarter than some of the people
She's
on
not
Vanderpump.
wrong when she says that, but...
She's smarter than some of the people on Vanderpump.
I don't know if like, Siggy's necessarily smarter than the people on the show, on Real Housewives.
I don't think Siggy's smarter than Dolores or,
Dolores
Margaret.
is a cop.
I don't think she's smarter than Dolores or Margaret, just because Teresa says Ramadan Don doesn't mean...
English is her second language.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that she's dumb.
It's endearing. I agree with what they said in season 7, the reunion. It is very endearing.
I don't think, like, a lot, like, some people, especially, like you said, bilingual people...
English is the second word, yeah.
Like,
I don't even think she realizes it half the time.
Oh, no, it's not some sort of, like, error that she does... Like, she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
She just... has a different labeling system.
Yeah, you can even... and I don't think, like... That's why the way people call her dumb. It's like, she's not dumb. Like, she's a very savvy businesswoman. Like, there's really nothing dumb about her.
She's a savvy businesswoman. She's very emotionally intelligent.
A hard
even
worker.
If she's not emotionally intelligent about her own emotions,
I would argue that because I think she is... I think she's smart enough to know, like, when to emote. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when she was like, "I'm numb," like, about her mom's death, I think she's like, I can't, like, be in this situation for my kids.
And, like, how about in a more recent episode when she gets in an argument with Melissa at the pizzeria, the Gorga Pizzeria, which sadly...
is closed. We'll never be able to have our dinner at the Gorga Pizzeria.
What if we went to the Gorga Pizzeria?
Unless. I think it's funny that Joe gives Melissa all this shit for envy, and then he winds up closing his business venture. Like, that is a little ironic to me.
I guess, but it's because his father died. They bought the restaurant before their mother died, so their mother...
No, but they didn't close because their no died.
What'd they close for?
They disagreed with the managing.
And why is that?
I don't know, but that was like a year before his grandfather passed.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
His
father died this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this thing with the cake, going back to it, it's just like Siggy is out of line.
She's furious and like she doesn't really seem too drunk.
No, she seems completely sober.
And she says, she's going on and on and on, and Margaret says, just
lighten
everyone, lighten up, or what is she, should I find where she says?
She just basically says, like, calm down, like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then Siggy, in, like, literally the most vitriolic voice, goes, like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
It's
and then continues on saying, like, you can all go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
She says it to everyone. She doesn't just say it, like, which they don't show in episode 1 of season 8, they show in episode 2. They had more clips from
her just popping off
that they didn't show, which they've done that a couple times now. Episode 6, they got in an argument at the Gorka Pizzeria, and at the beginning of the next episode, they show us she was dancing behind the girl, like as they went to leave, she was dancing behind people.
Throwing cake.
This
is a work of art. My whole thing is if you didn't eat it, I would get pissed off, but, like, you ate it, and, like, like, literally, what are you gonna do with enough cake for, like, what looks to be, like, 20 or 30 people?
Yeah, it's a big cake.
It's a huge cake.
And Siggy's just going around picking up cake off the floor and smacking it down onto the top.
She says, alright, take it down a fucking notch.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. But, so this becomes the whole catalyst, and it does kind of ruin the trip. So
honestly, it's ruining the season for me. It's ruining the season just because I liked Dolores last season.
I love Dolores.
And she is, her and Maggie, neither of them drink.
Margaret,
I keep calling her Maggie.
Yeah.
Margaret, neither of them drink, right? And so you'd think they'd have both a pretty clear picture of what happened.
Oh my god, this drives me, I cannot understand this part.
Dolores literally said, well, I'm sorry, and this is her and Margaret having a sit-down one-on-one, because, like I said, this season has just been constant arguments, Siggy just starting stuff, Dolores backing her up no matter what, and the other girls just
being like, I don't understand it. Well, they're contractually obligated to invite everybody.
And, oh yeah, good point. But it's just like, so Dolores goes, well, to be honest, once you spend some time with these girls, like I have, you start to tune things out.
And Siggy
which I don't believe.
Was already upset with Melissa because Melissa was talking about how Kim D bought all of the clothes that her business partner took from her and got them to Posh. Mm-hmm. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And Melissa was like, well, if you keep kissing her ass, she'll like you. Yeah. And, like, they were like, I'm not an ass kisser. Like, I don't care. It's like, well, you are. Like, a little bit.
Maybe just a little bit. And that's not the worst thing in the world. That's how you kind of get friends.
It's literally, like, not. I, like, don't think. I mean, I would be a little upset if somebody called me kiss ass, but it's like, okay, like, I'm a kiss ass. I'm like, who fucking cares?
I mean, if you don't care about this person's opinion, what is them calling?
What is Melissa Gorga thinking anything of you even matter? But so the next day after the cake fiasco, they're in Boca again, and they're supposed to do yoga with Teresa.
I would also say the night before, this is the first time Margaret has hung out with the girls. That day is when she met Teresa and Melissa.
And Dolores.
Which I'm not sure completely about that. Well, no, she met Dolores at Siggy's book signings.
Oh yeah, she did.
And that's how Margaret was introduced. She's been going to Siggy's speaking events, and
she was introduced through like one of Margaret's managers or something.
One of her like workers was like, "Oh, you'd like this woman a lot," and then they started hanging out. Which that's all cool, but they've only known each other for 3 months, I think she said.
Yeah, they're not like friends.
They're not longtime friends.
Yeah.
And so Margaret just kind of calls it like she sees it, and apparently that's disloyal to Siggy.
Yeah, I don't really. This is like, I feel like a cultural thing though. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't.
No, because I can see Dolores's loyalty.
Yeah.
I can understand where that's coming from. I just don't expect, like, Dolores. She didn't have very many friends. Siggy kind of helped her get her out of her shell when she was going through this like split. It makes sense why she's so loyal to Siggy.
But it doesn't make sense in comparison to Teresa.
No, well, it kind of does. I mean, like, they've known each other for a long time, but like who's saying like a friendship? You gotta feed a relationship.
I guess
you gotta feed
I
a
understand
relationship.
what you're saying.
They're not feeding that relationship, and Siggy has been for the last couple of years. But there's nothing to feed with Siggy and Margaret. They just met essentially.
There's really they're just they're just learning things about
and they're
each
like
other.
friends, like business friends too. They're like, oh, I met you in this business thing. I think you're like what your business is doing is amazing.
Yeah.
Like they're not these again, Siggy helped Dolores pull her out of her shell when she was going through this like split. Margaret, she met at her event. Like, it's not the same.
Through a manager. But, so they do, moving on, they do go to do yoga, which has completely transformed Teresa's life. She's a certified yoga instructor, which I think is, like, you can't, I don't think you're dumb if you did that.
I don't know, I've talked to some very airheaded yogis.
That doesn't mean they're dumb.
Yeah.
Just means they're a little spacey. But, so Siggy is
yoga
so...
makes you smart.
It doesn't, but I'm just saying it's like to think of like, oh, I really like doing this, I should get involved in this. Like, I don't know. I think it's like an aware thing to do.
Am I smart for doing jujitsu?
A little bit.
Oh.
Like, you're able to put energy.
I think I'm kind of just crazy.
You're able to put energy into something that like most people.
Everyone else thinks I'm crazy.
Like, you're able to put energy into something that most people like just have, like laying around, like spare energy, you know. Yeah. But. So, they go to do yoga on the beach, which also, like, literally looks amazing. Like, I don't care how mad I am at you, like, I want to do yoga on the beach. Like,
it looked like
looks so nice. Like,
and Staub wasn't there.
No, Staub was there.
Staub was there,
because she was doing the thing with her legs, and Melissa was like, 19 times!
This is why you were married 19 times!
And she goes, yeah, baby! All her legs are, like,
wide, like, doing, like, a touchdown, like, go!
It's so funny.
It's good!
I just love that. Yeah, baby! Like,
God.
I miss Danielle. But so Siggy and Dolores decide not to go, which is
only because Siggy is so upset about the night before.
Which I want to say is totally it's totally fine if you're hungover and you don't want to do yoga on the beach. That's fine.
But they ignored the group text. They didn't send anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is like when you don't go to something, you can't be upset that somebody did something without you. Mm-hmm. Like, you made the choice to not be included when you didn't, like...
When you didn't show up.
When you didn't make the effort to show up. But so Margaret planned a memorial for Teresa, like a little...
She got a florist to make a rose wreath.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really sweet. And,
it's
they all wrote...
tradition in Hawaii, they, like, you know, after someone dies, they, like, write a note and send it out to the...
Yeah.
On the water.
And then, like, they wrote it... Like, each of the girls wrote, like, a letter. Like, Danielle wrote it to her mom. Melissa wrote it to her dad. Like, Margaret wrote, I think, to her grandmother. And then they sent it out, and they read... It was just so sweet. I don't know. I thought, like, it really endeared me to Margaret. Like, oh, this is a nice...
Very thoughtful.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is where this person's head is at. And, like, even if she did it for the show, like, that's a fucking...
We have a producer... A producer's making an
impromptu button. What do you want? It's Kennedy. It's the Martha's Way dog.
It's Kennedy. She is a good little girl.
Adam is holding her right now. She looks very not down with that. But yeah, I was like, even if it is for the show, that's a smart move to play. Like,
yeah, it was good for her.
Her
image on the show.
Siggy and Dolores are salty because they didn't get invited, and they were like, she could have told us. It's like, what if she thought of it in the morning?
Or how about the fact?
Or like, why do you feel the need to be included in something that she did for Teresa?
Or how about just the fact that it's because they're like, well, we would have done it for Teresa, we would have been included in this nice thing. But I think it's more just indicative of like, well, you invited Margaret, or like Margaret is kind of like your friend, and you kind of left this Siggy. Siggy left that. Yeah, like why didn't you call Margaret and be like, hey, I'm really upset what Teresa and Melissa did. Siggy had nothing to do, or Margaret had nothing
was innocent.
You know, she had like nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
You know?
So, and Margaret is like, I don't want to be a loser. Like, of course I'm just going to ride it out with these girls. Like, I don't know them. Like,
this is, like, we had a plan. I wasn't invited to your thing. You didn't tell me about going to the juice bar.
Which, like, look, it's fucking stupid. Like,
it's
so stupid. Like,
it really was like,
also,
this trip is not about Teresa helping Teresa. It's not about Melissa's birthday. It's about Siggy showing off in her town.
Yeah.
And that only became more clear after yoga when they went to Siggy's friend's house.
Which is so... I have to be honest with you. If somebody pulled this shit to me, I would, like... They bring a lifeguard for Teresa.
I didn't think that was bad at all, babe. They had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like you're putting your feelings way too much into this because... I wouldn't be upset with that.
I would be upset. I would be upset with that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just you.
But when they get to the house...
When they get to the house, though, Siggy stops at the door.
Like they're on a field trip.
Like she's talking to a bunch of children and says, this is my friend's house. Don't be throwing rackets. I don't want a repeat of last night. And all the girls are just like...
What the fuck?
Yeah, they're just like, excuse me? Like... I don't even talk to my... Teresa's like, I don't even talk to my children that way.
I remember that time, I mean, like, we know you don't, Teresa, because I remember one time you were grocery shopping in Milan, and he was, like, sitting in the display, like sitting in the prepared salads.
Oh,
but yeah, so, they, like, that already, like, I think they all have an issue with that. And, like, Siggy is not telling the truth when she tells this story to everybody else. Like, she's not.
Well, she's just leaving out so many facts.
Like, I feel like if you were inside a restaurant and you threw cake, yeah, that'd be a little fucked up because then people have to clean it. But, like, you're outside. Like, and it's not even...
Yeah, Siggy has continued, like, you know, she makes up with Teresa, and then, you know, she has a one-on-one conversation. This is after you know, the whole Boca trip.
Mm-hmm.
She has a one-on-one meeting with Teresa, makes up with Teresa.
Yes.
She then has a one-on-one meeting with
Margaret.
Melissa. No, Melissa. It was Melissa Dolores, and they did something together. And she says, I'm just mad that Teresa threw the cake.
Yeah.
So she starts blaming on... So she's cross-talking to Teresa and Melissa.
Uh-huh.
Then she goes back to Margaret and also tells Margaret she's still mad at Teresa.
Which is just, like, insane.
But then she goes and says she's mad at...
Margaret for making fun of her, for calling her soggy.
Oh, well, we even forgot.
This is something...
So we forgot the dinner at...
I was about to mention
Siggy's house.
Sexy Chef.
Sexy Chef. There's so much happened. We are running.
We're meant to have to break this up into 2 parts.
Sexy Chef. Oh my god.
If you made this 3-year real one.
Honestly.
But so they have...
They're getting
dinner catered by a sexy chef.
His name's Sexy Jeff.
No, it's Sexy Chef.
No, that's what she called him at the end. But his name is
Chef.
Sexy. He's the Sexy Chef Jeff.
Sexy Chef. Sexy Jeff the Sexy Chef.
Yes.
Okay.
Jeff the Sexy Chef.
And so they rehash the cake argument, and Siggy's saying all these things, and
she's starting to and she keeps, like, you know, flipping her hair and putting her hand in her hands in her head and starts to cry. And then Dolores will go, like, you know, Dolores keeps saying the part Siggy doesn't want to say out loud.
Yeah, which is like, I just want you to apologize for doing something
not
hurt
for
my
doing
feelings.
something wrong, but for how it made me feel.
Yeah.
And it's just like Dolores keeps trying to, like, go to everyone and be like, can you believe, like, who throws a cake? Who would throw a cake? And people go, oh yeah, you're right.
That's a little fucked up.
That's a little fucked up. But then they go, we were all drinking. We ate the cake. It was my birthday. Like, it was outside. Like, there's only one person who's upset.
Yeah.
Like, all these other reasons. And then they go, oh, you know, maybe it's not a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
But she just keeps portraying it as, you guys did something wrong. You need to apologize for being animals. When it's just like, no, they
just apologize for hurting your feelings, which is, like, innocuous enough. Like, I hurt Adam's feelings all the time.
Yep. She's so mean to me.
Like, I mean, it's like... But, so anyways, so they're talking or whatever, and, like, Dolores says that, and she says something to Melissa doesn't like, and so Melissa's like, I'm leaving, which I think is an adult thing to do.
Well, before that, just to say, we got the greatest insult of all time, which was Soggy Flicker, which was from Danielle Staub. Which was what
Danielle said.
Danielle Staub called her. So
in the car,
Soggy Flicker, and Margaret was just like, I just don't want to see you cry, Soggy, and then Siggy, or should I say Soggy Flicker, and then, like...
And her delivery was... Siggy, or should I say Saki?
And then everyone else was like, excuse me? Dolores was like,
what did you say? It's so funny. It's not like it's not an insult, really. She just cries a lot.
That's when she gets called an ice queen and says she has no feeling.
You have no feelings.
You have no feelings for anyone in the world. It's like, she did a very nice memorial that morning.
I think she's
for a woman she just met. I think that was pretty nice.
It was very sweet. But, so Melissa and Teresa are leaving, and then as they're leaving, Teresa goes, the crab cakes were salty.
Oh, God, that's so good.
Which is just... And then Siggy goes, I'm sorry, Sexy Chef. The food is delicious.
Sexy Chef. Which, you know, when they did the Gorga Pizzeria tasting, that got brought up again. Everyone was making salty comments.
Oh, of course. I mean, a salty crab cake is gross.
I mean, it's seafood. You don't need to be saltier.
You don't. It's already in the ocean. Like, I don't understand, like, why he made it... Like, what was the angle he was going at when he made it salty? Like, that doesn't make sense to me with the food journey. But, you know... I think this is a pretty long episode.
This is a pretty long episode.
So I think we're going to wrap it up, and we're going to continue our recap of Season 8 a little bit later. Next Wednesday, we drop episodes every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
Thank you so much for listening. We do really appreciate, even if it's just like one listener, if you made it this far.
If you have a boyfriend that you're trying to get into, Bravo.
Just put it on.
Just put it on.
Like, literally, like, just put it on. Like, if you want your man to get, like, into Bravo, it's like watching sports.
Like that, yeah. I mean,
it's literally the same thing. Just tell them that.
I make Lori watch, MMA, the UFC. I don't make her do a podcast about it, but
maybe we'll start another one. I don't know.
This week on Stop Being Hate, we'll have a segment. We'll have an MMA segment. Watch. No, I'm joking.
No, we don't watch fights anymore because you have to go to work.
I mean, you might not. But
right.
Anyway,
thank you for listening. We'll be back. Thank you so much. If you want to give us a follow on Instagram, we're at Stop Being Hateful Pod.
Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend.
Yeah, tell everybody.
I'm Anna McAvoy.
I'm Lori Fogg. DJ James Kennedy, play us out.